Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for a match preview for the Cup final on Sunday against Man City at Wembley.
Well, it's the big one on Sunday, Dan. Manchester City at Wembley Stadium. I don't know where a result is coming from. You feel more optimistic than I do.
I mean, don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say that, but what I did say on the way here to Villa Park in the car was that I just think people have been a bit negative, and I get that we've not performed well the last few games. Obviously, Man City have beaten us quite heavily here very recently, but it is a cup final and anything can happen. And if you can't get excited about going to Wembley, there's literally no point supporting a football team. Yeah, although I feel, do you know what I mean? Like the playoff build-up, it felt like everyone's so excited, was so on it. Like the playoffs is big. Obviously, you want to get back in the Premier League. Whereas it's weird because 20 years ago, getting to a cup final, everyone would have been delighted. There'd have been queues coming out of Villa Park down the street, and I get that loads of people want tickets and it's done in a different way this time. But do you know what I mean? There's more of a build-up and more of an atmosphere about it. Everyone seems quite negative. Yeah, I don't like that.
I guess if you look at it from 2 years ago for the playoff final, which we lost, there was a real worry about the future of the club, and so there was an understandable negativity there. The following year, though, obviously Dean Smith's come in with 1-10 in a row. There's reasons to be optimistic. You know, we play reasonably well against Spurs and can't get the job done, and that's very disappointing. Then we lose to Southampton in a really disappointing fashion.
Ugly game, yeah.
You know, we've been pulverised by City not too long ago. I can understand that there's reasons that, you know, a few years ago we got battered by Arsenal at Wembley, so I can understand that apprehension, but I do also get your point that anything can happen on a cup final day, and you've got to go in with an optimistic mind, and that is part of being football. You know, being part of a football fan, rather. You need to embrace these opportunities because they don't come around very often.
Look, if we lose, I'll be as miserable as the next guy. Obviously, I want to see Villa win something because I haven't seen us win anything of meaning since 1996, and back then we won the League Cup in '94 and '96, and I just assumed that this is what happens every few years. I was 10 when we won in '96, so you just think every few years I'll go to Wembley, Villa are a top 6-7 side will do, and this is what life is. But that isn't what life's been like as a Villa fan in the last few years, and in the last decade has been quite miserable. But to be in a final and just to go into it thinking you've got no chance, of course with the underdogs, I completely accept that.
21-1, I mean, which is madness, isn't it?
Some of the odds are a joke.
That's worth a fiver, though.
But you think back to 2013 in the FA Cup final, Wigan had been relegated. No one would have thought that they'd have beat Man City, but they had a game plan and they won that game 1-0, late goal from a set piece. So
lucky we're good at set pieces then.
Lucky we're organised as well. Because I was going to say, if we can just be organised and get off to a decent start, not concede early. There is a chance for us. I tweeted earlier about I'd forgotten that City play Bravo as their cup keeper. He is half the goalkeeper Edison is. He can be shaky like that. That's a weakness that we can potentially get at, because we have got some good players and we have got some players on their day that can hurt teams. We had a great first half against Tottenham here the other week, and they're not a million miles away from Man City, are they? So if you get the game plan right, you can go there and have a go. As a Villa fan, I'm prepared to be disappointed. I've been to Wembley and seen us lose many times since 1996, as well as a couple of victories, but it's just the mentality of some people are making out as if there's no point even going, and I just don't get that, and I don't accept it.
You talked about organisation and the game plan. Who's going to be the difference maker for Villa, apart from Jack Grealish? Is there? Who do you look to? Do you look to an El Ghazi?
I don't know if El Ghazi will play. That's the thing. I feel like there's going to be big changes.
Right.
Just from what Dean Smith said after the Southampton game, I get the impression that he's going to change things around a bit. I think there might be a change of system. I think it's clear to see three at the back isn't working. If he does go three at the back, it actually wouldn't surprise me if Keenan starts.
Right.
Just to try something, just to try something different and hit them with a bit of a surprise game plan. So if you had Samatta and Keenan up front and then three central midfielders, you could play Jack as a 10. Really get your wing backs forward as the width, and then you're still keeping that three at the back, and you've got two central midfielders behind. I just think it would give some Man City something different to think about.
Throw them off course a little bit.
Yeah, just they wouldn't be prepared for Davies and Samatta up front. And I know Davies isn't a goal scorer, but he can be a handful, and he's a difficult player to play against. And I know fitness has been a problem. If you can get 60, 70 minutes of him causing them issue, something like that.
To don't want to score the winner.
I just feel like he might have a trick up his sleeve, Dean Smith. I don't think necessarily you'll see a selection and a system that you've seen before. I think it's a one-off game. I kind of think that makes sense. Do you get what I mean? Just something that they won't have prepared for.
Yeah, well, Villa look sharpest when they changed formation. And
that took Burnley by surprise.
Burnley, that's it. Took them by surprise, and maybe that's it. Maybe Pep's game plan is to go with what we're doing now and to completely throw that out the window and give two big men. Well, Matt's not a big man, but
we just seen him.
He's
not a big man. I think I'm taller than him.
That's true, but he causes people a handful. Keenan Davis is a completely different player. I'm just thinking out loud. I've just said Baston, but is he cup tied? I don't even know if he can play.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to.
So then, if we don't have, who do we have on the bench? So we don't have another. That's the only problem I see with your potential formation.
True. I mean, Vasilev.
Yeah.
He might make the bench, mightn't
A few people saying just chuck Louis Barry in there because he scored
doing
goals
well,
and
he did well in the under-23s, didn't he?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see someone like, especially as we get on to the end of the season when we need a spark. It's a real shame that John McGinn isn't that little bit further along.
Are you sure he's not going to be there though? Again, I've just got this feeling he might be on the bench.
Really?
I don't know anything. No one's told me anything. Just got this sneaky feeling. Yeah. He'll have done everything he can. If he's not there, I know he'll have done everything he can to get there and be a part of it. But even just having him on that bench would just be a boost to everyone. I think everyone, it'd be a boost to the fans, it'd be a boost to the players as well to have him about the place. Because although obviously he's around the place every day, just having him in amongst it, I think would lift the players a little bit.
Boost to Prince William, big friends now, aren't they? After their interview.
Yeah, good interview that was. John McGinn. I mean, with you leaving, maybe me and John McGinn could have rebooted the channel.
Or you and Prince William.
Or me and Prince William, even better. Yeah.
So you're talking about a back four. Who's your starting back four?
I'm not talking about back four. I'm saying you play two at front, but still play three at the back.
Oh, okay.
Have the extra man in.
You've changed since you were talking to me earlier.
In the car, no. But I do not think we will see the same system that there was against Southampton. Right. I think it'll either be 4-3-3 or I do think he'll go 5-3-2.
Okay, so you keep the same three at the back. Hawes?
No, I wouldn't.
No?
I'd put Engels in there.
Engels, Mings,
Konsa. It's harsh on Hawes, but
he was culpable against Spurs.
For me at the moment, Hawes and Konsa, I don't think there's much between them in terms of I think they're both off the boil a little bit at the moment. But I think it would be Hawes that missed out because I think Engels can only really play in the middle.
And who's your cup goalkeeper?
Oh, goalkeeper's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Me personally, I'd play Neelan.
Yeah,
because I think he deserves it. And I know there's no room for sentiment in football, but that's just the way I am.
But he's done nothing wrong. Yeah. I mean, he could have played in the Premier League.
I mean, the last time he played in the Premier League, he did concede 6 against Man City.
True.
So that's not the best to go into.
But
this
I mean,
game,
we talked about that game. Apart from maybe the first one, where his wrist should have been a little bit stronger. He wasn't at fault for many of those goals.
It's easy to say. I mean, I thought he could have done better for a couple of them, but then it's easy for me to say the protection there was seriously lacking against Man City.
Yeah.
Everyone had a complete off day. It was just a poor performance all round.
So we haven't talked about him yet, though. Jack Grealish, he is going to be the architect of a win, isn't he? You can't see a Villa win without Jack Grealish being man of the match, really.
No, I mean, we've seen him have a masterclass at Wembley many years ago against Liverpool in the semi-final, and he completely pulled the strings that day. I think he was 19 at the time and played 4 or 5 games for Villa leading into that, and then he came and absolutely dominated the semi-final. He's a different class. He's the player that we've got there that would get in the Man City team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Other than De Bruyne, I think he's not far off the level of some of Man City's other midfielders. I think people rave about Foden, but I don't see anything that Foden does that Jack doesn't do better.
Foden's played, I saw, because I had him as young player of the year, I think, this year, and he's played less minutes than a lot of players. But I think it was a comparison with Rashford or someone else. But he's just not been able to do it. But let's talk about the players that are going to play. It's hard to pick one, but a danger man for City. Who do you think is going to be our nemesis?
It's got De Bruyne. De Bruyne is the best player in the league. I think there was an interview with Grealish earlier in the week where he said he's his hero. He's the one footballer he loves absolutely watching.
Yeah.
And De Bruyne is, for me, he's the best player in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think
there's no one like him.
I think I had him as comeback player of the year or whatever we had as a category.
I don't remember that being a category.
Well, then maybe I just had him as player of the year because he is just sensational, isn't he? And
I think there was Hazard that was up there with him before.
Yeah.
And there's Liverpool have got some great players as well, but I think with Liverpool it's more about the collective. I think they're a great team. But De Bruyne to me just shines in that Man City midfield. I think he's absolutely incredible. There's no one like him. His technique, the delivery sometimes that he puts into the box is just unprecedented. There's no one like him.
And Villa, whether it's a back 3 or a back 4, have to be so on the ball, don't they? Mings really has to come back in there, raise his game and just lead that back line, whatever it is, because Man City are just so dangerous.
These games are hard for defenders, I think, because you have to be concentrated the maximum for 90 minutes. If you switch off for a second, you make a mistake, they will punish you.
Yeah.
And we've been punished for many mistakes so far.
Exactly.
This season, but I just think it's so hard. You can get to 70, 75 minutes with a clean sheet, having played brilliantly. But it's so hard to keep your concentration up for that full 90. Again, it's something we've seen many times for Villa with Spurs. We were 75, 80 minutes in the first game of the season. The concentration was immense. Everyone was doing what they needed to do, and then we just switched off slightly, and Spurs punished us. So it's a massive, massive task for us. It's a huge mountain to climb, but it doesn't mean that it can't be done. I think my memory obviously isn't going to be the best of this because it was 1994 and I was very young, but I don't remember us being great form going into that cup final. We were not the favourite because Man U were on for the treble.
I know that for sure.
At that point, I mean, Man City can still win a domestic treble. They're not going to win the league, obviously. It's not a domestic treble. Man City can still win a treble in terms of the Champions League, the League Cup, and the FA Cup. So they're playing for something. There is certain similarities with that time because we're just not fancied at all. And Big Ron threw in a surprise that day by playing Graham Fenton, and that's what I'm saying. I think for a one-off game, you work on something, you drill the players all week in training, get something different, something that Man City aren't going to expect, and that's why I think we're going to see a system change and we're going to have to see a proper game plan. And if we do that gives me hope.
Most importantly, the cash out amount on your bet for Villa to win.
£39, mate.
Really?
Rubbish.
And what's the winnings, total winnings?
400 and something.
Right, okay.
I'm riding it out, I've come this far.
You've come this far,
yeah.
I mean 10% seems very
I mean, it tells you what the bookies think of Villa's chances.
I checked last night and it's 21-1 for Villa to win, and Man City are like 1-6 on.
To win the game, yeah. 21-1.
Yeah, to win the cup. I mean, there's not many choices, are there?
That's a joke, 21-1.
Maybe it wasn't the cup because that would have been after pens and stuff.
We're in the final.
Yeah, it's crazy, really crazy.
As crazy as it sounds, it's 50-50 at this moment in time.
Yeah, exactly, it's worth a five of that, I think. Go on then, let's get a score prediction from you because you've been optimistic.
I'm not doing a score prediction. I don't want to.
What do you mean?
I haven't got to do anything.
This is what we've done all year. It's time.
We're finishing now. It doesn't matter if I do it or not.
Well, let's take your FIFA prediction then. What happened when you
play a game on FIFA on the hardest setting? A few people questioned me saying I must have been playing on amateur. I play on legendary. I don't play on anything else. So went 1-0 down. Aguero. I switched off. I'd been defending well.
Very Villa.
Like I was saying, I switched off. I lost concentration. I didn't track Aguero, and he scored.
Take note, Aston Villa.
Then had a little spell of dominance in this FIFA game. And I rode it out. Rainer was in goal for me because he got better scores than Neil, and he had his proper face. So he made a couple of saves, kept me in it. Second half, we were on it.
Right.
Louise missed a good chance, should have scored.
I didn't ask for the match analysis.
All right, well I'm doing it. This is how the game's going to go. Much like against Tottenham down here, Louise should have probably scored. And then I brought McGinn on just to G us up.
You really have tried to predict this game.
You've got to do it properly if you're going to do it. Give us an extra level. And we dominated. We scored in about the 75th minute through Harahan.
Right.
Good goal, 1-on-1, slotted it. And then we dominated the final 15, but I missed a few chances, couldn't tuck them away. Went straight to penalties, which I'm not sure is the case in real life, but it did go straight to penalties in FIFA. Anyone who's played FIFA knows penalties are a joke, but I managed to scrape through 2-1 on pens and Jack lifted the trophy.
Wow.
So I'll go for a Villa on penalties as my prediction after a 1-1 draw.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to go optimistic as well because what's the point in not? I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. It's going to be 1-1 till the very, very end, and then Mings is going to come up, score the winner, and it's just everything's going to go mental.
Have I G'd you up a little bit doing this preview?
Definitely, yeah. I mean,
that's good.
I can understand people's apprehension, I guess, because there's definitely a chance that we go and get battered. But
I get that. I'm not stupid, but yeah.
I mean, but I totally agree with you. You've got to go in optimistic, otherwise there's no point going. So yeah, 2-1 win. It's going to be a nervy old game, but we're going to nick it at the end.
All I ask is that you go there. Just stay with them for 90 minutes, just support them for 90 minutes. It's a cup final. Without being too morbid as well, like, as I say, I thought Villa would win trophies every year when I was young. It hasn't happened. Like, my dad's getting on a bit now. What's better than going to the cup final with your dad and the chance to see you win a trophy? It's important and it's special. And I don't know his actual name. It's the guy JSB on Twitter who auctioned off his Wembley tickets to raise money for charity because he doesn't want to go because going to the football with his dad was so special and his dad's unfortunately passed away. Things like that. Just make the most of the memories and just try and enjoy the day. If Villa lose, they lose, but go there, get behind them. Hopefully Villa will give their all. We'll give our all as fans and just see what happens. There's no point going into it beaten, otherwise there's no point being a football fan.
Nothing more to say other than that. We're here at Villa Park. We're about to do our live show, which is going to be a lot of fun. That will have been last night when this comes out. So if you're going to the cup final, make sure you get behind the lads, have a good day, stay safe, and up the Villa.
Yeah, good chance if you've been to the Villa View Live that you're going to hear a lot of regurgitation.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine I'm going to say things that are much different in the live.
That is what it is. A showbiz.
Yeah.
Good luck to Villa on Sunday. Up the Villa.
See you in Box Park.
See you in Box Park.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.